Welcome back, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you today. My name is Rachel, if you're new around here. And today I want to share with you a little practice that you can do to bring some self compassion to the past. So often we look back on things that we did or didn't do, and we vilify ourselves for not making a better choice or for creating coping mechanisms that just really made our adult life hard when we were kids. Maybe, we had some struggles and we developed coping mechanisms that now we have to kind of undo. And it's really easy to kind of look back at our past and be angry with ourselves or frustrated with ourselves. But I am here to remind you that you are not the villain of your story. That past you was your superhero. Honestly, you were swooping in to save the day the best way you knew how. When you were a kid, you didn't have any tools. You did the best you could to create a way of being in the world that would keep you safe. You were trying to keep yourself safe by creating those coping mechanisms. And even though now you have to undo them as an adult, and that's hard and frustrating, you were doing the best you could. All those decisions that you made in your past, oh, I wish I had taken that job and my life would be different. Well, of course it would be different, but who knows that it would be better. But you were doing the best you could. And very often, even the bad choices, quote unquote, that we make are really just us doing the best we can to protect ourselves and keep ourselves from harm. Maybe it's wrong-headed and maybe we didn't have all the information, or maybe it was just fear, right? But so often, oh, well, I wanted to take that job, but I didn't because I was scared. Well, that scared part is superhero you saying, I don't want you to experience pain. I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I don't want you to hurt. And trying to save you the best way you back then knew how. You have always been your own superhero. Maybe it just didn't work out right. Maybe it kind of worked out really uncomfortably, but you're doing the best you can. So I'm going to give you a little tool today to go back maybe and just give yourself a little compassion for the you that made those choices. That was just doing the best it could to protect you. So, as with things like this, I'm going to recommend that if you have a history of trauma or abuse, you really do this in therapy. These things are challenging enough. And so please work through this in therapy if that is you. Or please stop if you start doing this and it brings up really painful, uncomfortable, and, more than usual things, because you don't need to hurt yourself here. What we want to do is bring in some love and grace and compassion. So please stop if you're tapping into something that is uncomfortable and needs to be done in therapy. And of course, just take good care of yourself. This is meant to be a beautiful exercise of compassion, and it's not meant to bring up things that are uncomfortable and harder than they really need to be. So give yourself some time. Set aside, like maybe a little half an hour, because you want to give yourself plenty of time to just think through or process through some of these things. So try and give yourself at least a half an hour to sit down, and you can either do this as a reflection if you're more thinky. You can certainly take this outside if you process better while your body is moving. Take a walk or go sit in nature, wherever you feel like you process things best. And obviously, I'm a journaler, so I'm always going to say, hey, sit down and journal these things out. But get yourself in a comfortable place or in a really happy place or out on your walk and just get your breath. You don't have to take big, deep breaths, but just get your breath, get relaxed in your breath. And then bring to mind a time that you have been thinking about, or maybe when you think back to, you get really angry and frustrated with yourself, and you think, oh, why did I do that to myself? How could I have betrayed myself like that? Or any words like that. If you have some of those things in your past, pick one of those things. want you to go back and just hold that. Hold that in your mind. Just think through it. What was I doing at the time? What was going on around me at the time? What were the circumstances? How was I feeling? Just all of that stuff. Just sit there in that memory for a minute. And then once you've spent some time with that memory, think about how you were trying to protect yourself. What were the things that you thought you were protecting yourself from? Maybe it was you were afraid you would be embarrassed, or maybe you were afraid you would hurt someone's feelings, or maybe you were concerned that you had bit off more than you could chew and you were just trying to protect yourself. See if you can think through how that might have been something where you were just trying to protect yourself. You weren't trying to hurt yourself. You weren't trying to ruin your life. You were doing the best you could to give yourself peace, safety, whatever. So really ponder through, what would you have been trying to protect yourself from? What do you think superhero you was swooping in to save you from? And then hand to the heart. It's always good when we do self-compassion to make that connection with ourselves, to tap into our physical body. 2 hands, if you like, you complete a circuit that way. It's like a hug. But hand to your heart and just hold all the love and grace you can for how you were trying to protect yourself, that you were not trying to hurt yourself. You weren't trying to do the wrong thing. You were trying to do the right thing. And just hold that. Just hold that. Thank you, superhero me, for trying to swoop in and save the day. It didn't work out the way that we thought it would, and maybe it caused some harm, but you were trying to do the right thing, and I am grateful. I love you. Thank you for trying to protect me. And then just give yourself a little time to sit with that. I know that sounds a little complex, as far as, wow, I don't know if I can go from over here hating that part of me to loving that part of me, and that's okay. If that seems like too much of a stretch, just start by noticing. Just start by noticing the times that you do this to yourself and say, there I am again, vilifying myself for things that I was just trying to protect myself. Start small. Start by just noticing when that happens, and then you can work your way up to doing that practice. But if you have something that you've been beating yourself up for a while, and you feel like, you know what, I'm going to flip the script on that, go ahead and try that practice and see if you can bring just a bit of grace, just a bit of love, just a bit of compassion to your superhero self who was just trying to swoop in and save you. I am going to drop a link in the comments. I forget how YouTube works that way. Anyway, look down below this video, and there should be a link to a blog post that I wrote on this topic recently, and that'll give you maybe a little more detail and see if that information is helpful to you. As for now, please hit the subscribe button if you want to know when new videos come out, and I will see you next time. And in the meantime, I hope you treat yourself with all the love and grace and self-compassion that you deserve.